Hello everyone, today is 17th of July. My name is Sahil and welcome to the newspaper analysis. Friends, in today's newspaper analysis, we will be taking up the entire analysis of the Hindu newspaper and some of the good articles from the Indian Express we will also be taking up. Guys, if you like our initiative, please do like us as well as to subscribe to our channel. Now, let's take the overview of the articles that we'll discuss today. First of all, guys, we will be taking up an article from the Indian Express where we can see that the Reserve Bank of India, it has brought up the restrictions onto the MasterCard. We will see that what has happened here and what is the data localization for which such thing has happened. Then guys, this article again taken up from the Indian Express, and here we can see that how Samaj, Sarkar and Bazaar needs to come together to secure the migrants' interest. Then guys, now let's take the overview of the Hindu. So this is the page number 1. Onto the page number 1, there are the news which are not very much relevant to the UPSC, but guys, here one of the news is there with respect to the bail orders under which the reforms have been suggested by the Supreme Court. So here we'll see what the reforms have been there. Then guys, the other issues are not very much important. Now moving to the next page. So guys, into the city page, the issues with respect to the regional news, the number of cases, etc. has been there. Now this particular article here talks about the Mekadatu project. We will discuss that what has been there. Then guys, below here is this one more article with respect to the river boards. We will see that what is the issue. Then guys, moving on. So after that we reach to the editorial page. Into the editorial page, guys, this particular article talks about the sedition and related issues. Guys, already in last 2 days we have discussed the sedition. Now into this particular article, already the things which have been there, they have been repeated. Then guys, this particular article talks about the Uttar Pradesh draft population control bill. Then guys, this article talks about the prescriptions that are needed into the healthcare system. We'll see this thing. Then guys, this article talks about the rising number of cases, not very much important. Then guys, this article talks about the scamster of Kolkata. Now the ground zero report, guys, you don't need to read it too much with respect to the UPSC examination. You can skip it. Moreover, the substance has also not been there. Then guys, on to the next page. Here we can see that the Supreme Court has suggested a kind of a reform to decongest the jail. We will see this thing. Then guys, after that, nothing very much important with respect to the UPSCs there. And now guys, moving to the next page. So here also the regional news, the political news, etc. has been there. Now guys, this particular article is talking about the women's reservation bill. Now when we talk about the women's reservation bill, guys, a kind of a just a demand has been made by the TMC, but you just need to understand that the women's reservation bill is actually a very good thing which needs to be brought up. Earlier guys, what had happened, it was suggested that the 33% of the seats into the parliament needs to be reserved for the women because of the representation that the women holds. But guys, such thing has not happened up till now, and it is very much needed because just 14% representation is there of the women into the present Lok Sabha. So it needs to be enhanced. Then guys, moving to the next page, here we can see that the cyber crimes, they are increasing. So into this particular thing, they are targeting the employees. We will see this thing. Then the showcase page, not very much important. Then guys, onto the world page also, the evolving issues such as how into the Afghanistan the Taliban is getting much of a headway. Such kind of things are there. So already we have discussed many of such kind of things. Then guys, into the business page also, the news with respect to the corporate sector, etc. has been there. Fine, we will see that what has happened. The MasterCard issue already we will be discussing in Indian Express. So these are all the overview of the today's newspaper, and this is the sports page, nothing very much relevant. And now guys, let's take the newspaper analysis into the detail. Now friends, taking up the first article. So this article has been taken up from the Hindu newspaper, and in fact here we have clubbed the two articles, and both are talking about some of the judicial reforms and the judicial issues, and therefore it will be important under the GS paper number 2, the topic of judicial reforms and related issues. Now guys, taking up this first article. Now before it, we will be talking about some of the background. Guys, few days back, what happened? There were 13 of the prisoners into the Agra jail, and it was found that they had spent nearly 2 decades into the jail, but at the time when they committed the crime, they were the juveniles, and even the Juvenile Justice Board declared them to be the juveniles, but still for so many of the years they were lodged into the jail. Then guys, the Supreme Court gave them the release, but guys, for even so many days after that Supreme Court gave them the release, they were not actually released from the jail because the jail authorities said that into the hard copy they had not received the orders from the Supreme Court. And onto that particular thing, a large controversy also erupted. Now guys, into this particular direction, Supreme Court has made an observation that now we have progressed so much into the terms of technology, but still we are relying onto the hard documents and such kind of things. So into this particular direction, suo motu in an open court, Supreme Court has declared one of the important reform. This is the new scheme which is called as FASTER, which means the fast and secure transmission of electronic records. Now guys, under this FASTER, the secure delivery of such orders by the court to the prisons to other authorities will be made so that into the time bound manner the release of prisoners could be carried. Guys, it was also seen that the Pinjara Tod activists, they were also released after 2 days, after 2 days when the High Court declared their release. So into this particular direction, it will be helping up. Further guys, the Supreme Court has also asked the state governments that they need to file report the status of the internet connectivity into the prisons, because guys, many a times it has been said that even many of the schemes are not being implemented due to the last mile connectivity which is not there. So into that particular direction, the special responsibility to the state government has also been given. So guys, this is a very good direction in a very good reform that has been taken up. And guys, when we talk about this particular kind of thing, the genesis of such kind of powers can be found into the article number 142 of the Indian Constitution, where the Supreme Court has been given a power that in order to do complete justice, it can issue such kind of decrees. So this is one particular thing. Then guys, the next article, it talks about the issue that now we are seeing that there are the pandemic, and into the pandemic guys, the jails and the prisons, they have been very much congested. So guys, over the last 2 years, that is in 2020 as well as in 2021, many a times the Supreme Court has talked about the decongestion of the jail. And in 2021, around the month of May, when the second wave of COVID pandemic was there, Supreme Court said that all the prisoners who are eligible for the parole, they should be released onto the parole. Now guys, the jail authorities are calling them back that they need to surrender back. But the Supreme Court had said that you should not ask the surrender of such people who are onto the parole, because now we need to make a kind of a social distancing into the jails also, and as a part of a decongestion plan, you should think onto the lines that their parole could be extended. One thing. Secondly guys, it has been provided that when we talk about our jails, there are 4 lakh prisoners into our jail, and guys, many of the jails are basically they are over occupied. Approximately 120% is the occupancy into our jails. And guys, into this capacity, there is also one more observation that 66% of the inmates into the jail, they are under trial. It means that their crime have not been proved. So it has been provided by the Chief Justice of India's bench that the NALSA as well as the state government needs to identify the criteria onto which the people out of these 4 lakh prisoners, they could be released so that the jails could be decongested. So guys, this particular thing has been provided. Moreover, it has also been said that basically the enforcement agencies need to follow a basic law of natural justice, that the release needs to be the norm and the arrest needs to be an exception. Unnecessary arrest should also not be made, because at the end of the day, it is a kind of an attack onto the right to liberty, as well as it is also a kind of a pressure onto the resources of the state. So guys, these all observations have been made by the judiciary. Here we can utilize it into our relevant answers of GS paper number 2. So that is all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this article has been taken up from the explained section of the Indian Express, and it will be important under the GS paper number 3, issues related to the Indian economy, banking, as well as the data localization. Now guys, before taking up this article, let's take some of the background information. Guys, we had seen that over last 3-4 months, the Reserve Bank of India is coming out heavily onto the payment gateways. Now, what had happened earlier, the Diners Club and American Express, they were banned. It was said that, not actually banned, it was said that they cannot bring new customers on board. Now what has happened, into the MasterCard also such kind of restriction has been imposed. Now MasterCard also cannot bring new customers on board. Now first of all, I have used the word payment gateways. What are the payment gateways? Now guys, see, you are having a particular debit card or credit card. Now the debit card or credit card could be of any of the bank, fine. But when you go to the retail shop for doing a kind of a transaction, he swipes your card. Now the payment has to be settled. between your bank, which has issued you the card, and between the merchant's bank, the bank who had given the POS to the merchant with which he swiped your card. So basically, the transactions are settled by these payment gateways which are in between, and the MasterCard, Visa, RuPay, all of them are the payment gateways. Fine. So guys, now what has happened after the banning of the American Express, Diners Club and MasterCard, there are two of the major payment gateways who are operational in India. One is the RuPay, which is our own homegrown payment gateway, and other is the Visa. Now let's see that why they have been restricted. Now guys, into this particular capacity, the Reserve Bank of India had said that they have not followed the data localization norms. Now when we talk about the data localization, it simply provides that an entity, when it is generating the data needs to be stored into the India. Now MasterCard, American Express, they were generating so much of the data with respect to the confidential information, with respect to the transaction history, with respect to many of other aspects. But these data were being stored onto the servers which were located outside India. Now guys, the Reserve Bank of India issued a circular, that is the Circular on Storage of Payment System Data 2018, and it provided that all system providers, they need to ensure that within 6 months their entire data, such as the full end-to-end transaction details, informations collected or corrected or carried as processed as part of the message or payment instruction, it needs to be stored within the systems into India. Moreover, there were certain other compliances also which were to be made. For example, these payment gateways, they were provided that they need to file a report of compliance to the Reserve Bank of India at the regular intervals. Then it was also said that they need to submit a board approved audit report which will be conducted by the CERT-IN, that is the Computer Emergency Response Team India. Fine. So all such kind of things were to be done. But guys, these data have not been stored up till now into the India. Now guys, when we talk about this particular direction, it has to be followed mandatorily, because under the Payment and Settlement Act of 2007, these operators have been given a permission, and under the Payment and Settlement Act, Reserve Bank of India has an authority that from time to time it can issue the directives. Now guys, though Ministry of Finance had proposed that some basically liberalized norms can be imposed, that is a copy of data can be stored, but the Reserve Bank of India has been very much clear that not the copy but the entire data itself has to be stored into the India. Now guys, these payment gateways and these agencies, they have also cited some of the practical problems. They had said that first of all, the problem is the exorbitant cost, because installing a kind of a server into the India, bringing so much data back from those countries to the India will be costing them millions of dollars, and then it will not be viable to their business models. Then there will be the security risks also, the lack of clarity, because the directives which have been given, it doesn't have the clarity with respect to that what will be the finer details, how basically into the long term this particular step will be evolving. Such kind of clarity is not there. Then the possibility of data localization and as well as the demand from other countries will also be there. If we will impose these payment gateways, will be asked by other countries that you also install servers here, and then the centralized operations which they are carrying, they will get hampered. So this is the problem which is coming, and the matter has been struck. Now guys, first of all, banning them or basically putting the restriction of such kind of thing might not be possible, because first of all, see, into the short term there will be no implication onto the customer. If you are using the MasterCard already, there is no problem, it will go on as it was going on. But there are many of the banks, many of the financial institutions which have completely tied up with the MasterCard. Fine. So how they will be rolling out their facilities to their customers, to new customers? When we talk about some of the major players also, for example, the HDFCs, 60% of the cards are tied with the MasterCards. So guys, their operations will be restricted. Moreover, we always talk about having a kind of an adequate competition, but now as there are only two payment gateways, the competition is also being reduced. Now guys, it has been provided that what could be the way forward. So guys, the way forward could be like this. Right now what we are doing, we are moving under the MLATs, that is the Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty, under which we exchange the data from the other countries. Now guys, the MLAT, it is a kind of a slow and ineffective, and many a times the data exchange has not been very much good. And because of this ineffective nature of the Mutual Legal Assistance Treaties, we are talking about the data localization. Now it has been said that we are frustrated under the MLAT. Now, rather than just outright hardcore data localization, there could also be a system which could be based on bilateral bilateral treaties. We can sign the bilateral treaties where these servers are located, and onto that particular basis, on case by case matter, we can bring the kind of information or the data into the India. So this could be one of the way forward that could be taken. So this is all about this particular article, guys. Fine, I hope that you have understood it, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this article has been taken up from the Indian Express, and into the article one very important and powerful expression has been used, which we will discuss here, and you can utilize it into your answers. It has been said that the formal inclusion of migrants require Samaj, Sarkar and Bazaar to come together. Fine. Now see, we in India see that there are 400 million migrants, fine, and they are consisting 30 to 35% population. Now see, a migrant goes to another city, fine. Why? Because first of all, the employment into the India, it is restricted, and secondly, it is concentrated only into the few pockets, and because of that concentrative nature, a person goes to the other area. Now the migrant could become a settler, okay, and to be a settler he wants a kind of a permanent good paying jobs which can sustain its family. Into the other capacity, the migrant might not be able to become a complete settler. He might have to resort from the area where they migrated to its home region, and such kind of things will be happening. Now in India, the migrants are not able to become the settlers because of number one, large number of informal sector jobs which are always very much less paying. Secondly, guys, the social security nets are not so much powerful that the migrants, they can rely on the state and they can look for the settling. Now what happened, the first wave of the COVID came, we came for the complete lockdown. Migrants, they faced so much of the problems. There were no transport by which they can go back. Here, that the landlords, they started to ask the rents, otherwise they gave an ultimatum that they can vacate. Employers, they said that they cannot pay them the salaries, and the migrants, they got stranded. Now guys, as soon as the second wave came, though there was no complete shutdown, but guys, still the migrant went back to their places because they knew this thing that the state will not be coming for their help. There might be a possibility then again national lockdown could be there, and then how they will be going back. So basically a distrust has been there between this 30 to 35% population, and into this distrust all the parties are included: the Samaj, the society, the government, as well as the market. Into the market there are the employers. Now guys, it has been said that we being a welfareist state, we being a responsible state, cannot ignore the migrants which are such a large section of our society. We need to bring all the stakeholders together. Number one, the Samaj, the society needs to have a kind of an empathy for these people. Society needs to have a compassion. Society needs to have a kind of a kind of an sympathy for these people, because only then the society can help them into the times of crisis. We have seen that the landlords ask them to evict. Fine, we removed our maids and even did not help them into the financial capacity. Even guys, many a times our attitude are also very much negative. Then guys, the next is the Sarkar. It has been seen that the Sarkar's safety net always or many a times it is very much weak. See guys, there was already a Interstate Workmen Act which was existing, and under that act many of the protections have been envisaged. But guys, even till now nothing into the formal capacity has been done into the Interstate Workmen Act of 1979. And then is the Bazaar. Bazaar means the employers. The employers need to understand this particular thing, that into the tough times they have a responsibility with respect to their employees, and they should not just be abandoned. Fine. So these are the three forces that needs to come together. So guys, just a kind of an idea which you can utilize into the society related answers. So that is all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this article has been taken up from the Hindu newspaper, and it is talking about the Mekadatu Dam controversy. Now, first of all guys, this particular dam controversy is between the Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, and it has first of all become a much politicized issue. Into that capacity guys, I'll suggest that don't go, because UPSC doesn't ask questions onto such kind of lines, but as a matter of concept we will be seeing the details associated here. First of all guys, the word Mekadatu. The Mekadatu, it means the goat's leap. Fine. And as it means a goat's leap, and the goat's leap is a kind of a deep one. So basically Mekadatu is a deep gorge which is situated onto the confluence of two rivers, that is the river Kaveri and its tributary Arkavati. So guys, Kaveri's tributary is Arkavati, and here you can see that the location of Mekadattu has been given. This is Karnataka and this is Tamil Nadu. So around the border of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, the Mekadatta gorge is there. Now guys, onto into the Mekadattu, onto specifically the river Kaveri, the Mekadattu dam has been envisaged by the Karnataka government. It was envisaged in 2017 specifically so that it can cater to the water demands of the Bengaluru city. Moreover, apart from the water, the electricity generation was also kept as a part of this particular project, and 400 megawatt of electricity was to be generated by this Mekadattu project. So in 2017, Karnataka came with it, but guys, at that time, Tamil Nadu had a problem. Now, Tamil Nadu's problem was genuine. It said that the river, Kaveri river, is actually a significant part of state's lifeline in terms of water, and the unilateral decision by Karnataka cannot be taken to create such kind of project. Moreover, guys, it was said that whenever a lower riparian state is included, find the consent of the lower riparian state is very much necessary. So a kind of a dispute emerged between the Karnataka as well as the Tamil Nadu. Now guys, what happened? Basically, there was earlier, now the Ministry of Jal Shakti is there, but earlier there was the Ministry of Water Resources, and it said that a detailed project report is to be prepared. Fine, a detailed project report is to be prepared, as well as even the consent should be taken from the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, because guys, if this project will be built, then guys, approximately 63% of the forest area of the Kaveri Wildlife Sanctuary will be submerged. So these were the two issues. Fine, this was going on. And now guys, as of now, when we talk about what has happened, this detailed project report that was to be completed, it has not been completed. Until now, it is under the CWMA, that is the Kaveri Water Management Authority. So Kaveri Water Management Authority is looking into it. But guys, what has happened? Suddenly, now Karnataka has taken a unilateral decision that we will be going forward anyhow with this particular project. Now Tamil Nadu is resisting the protest. Tamil Nadu is saying that first of all, the DPR and by the CWMA, Kaveri Water Management Authority, is not there. Secondly, guy, it had said that the matter went into the Supreme Court in 2018, and at that particular time also it was held by the Supreme Court that the concerns of the Tamil Nadu also needs to be addressed. So hey, there also directly the approval was not given. So because of this particular issue, it was said that a unilateralist approach is being taken up by the Karnataka. This has happened, guys. Fine, the political aspects will not be going. Now, these basically the states, they had approached the center, and now the center government has given an assurance that no work onto the Mekadattu will be taken up until and unless the CWMA has given a nod. Fine, CWMA, Kaveri Water Management Authority, until and unless it publishes the DPR, detailed project report, and under the report it says that the report project can be taken up. Until then, no work can be taken. So this is which has culminated here. So that is all about this particular article, guys, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article, it is talking again about the water disputes, and into this capacity some new development has happened. Now guys, first of all, this article can again be utilized in GS paper number 2 issues related to the federal disputes. Guys, into the federal dispute category, river water dispute is one of the biggest federal dispute which is there in our country. Now before going into this particular article, first of all, let's take some of the background information. See friends, there is article number 262 into the Indian Constitution, and it majorly provides the mechanisms for the adjudication of the interstate water disputes. And under article number 262, it has been provided that the Parliament may by law provide for the adjudication of any dispute or complaint with respect to use, distribution, control of water or any interstate river and river valley. It was also provided that the Parliament can also provide that the Supreme Court, that neither the Supreme Court nor any other court is to exercise jurisdiction in respect of any such dispute or complaint. So the authority or the power has been given to the Parliament, and by using the powers given here, what has been done, the Parliament has enacted the River Board Act of 1956 and the Interstate Water Disputes Act of 1956. Now under the River Board Act, the Parliament can constitute the river boards which will be looking for a particular river basin, all the projects which are into that river basin and all such kind of things. There is the Interstate Water Dispute Act also, under which the disputes between the different states can be resolved by constituting a tribunal. Now this particular thing has happened. Now guys, coming to the news. you know that the Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, they got bifurcated. And as the Andhra Pradesh and Telangana got bifurcated, the water resources which were being shared earlier into the one state, now they have to be shared into the two states. Into this capacity, guys, it was said that a river board needs to be constituted for the two bodies, two river basins, two river boards. That is the river board for the Krishna and the river board for the Godavari. Now, guys, finally, what has been done? Ministry of Jal Shakti had issued a gazette, and under that, finally, the Kaveri River Management Board and the Godavari River Management Board's mandate has been approved. It has been provided that there are the 35 projects which are into the basin of Kaveri, and these 35 projects are under the Kaveri River Management Board, and approximately 71 projects are there which are under the basin of the Godavari. So they will be the part of the Godavari River basin, and it will be supervising their operation, their works with respect to the barrage, dam, the reservoir, the regulation of their structure, water transmission line, powerhouses which are onto the project. Onto all of them, these river boards will be looking up. So now what has happened? The river boards have been notified for Krishna and Godavari. Now, guys, this particular issue becomes very much important into the light of many of the water disputes that had emerged into the Telangana and Andhra Pradesh in last few months. For example, there was the dispute with respect to the hydel generation and the Sri Salam project, Nagarjun Sagar, Pulichintal Reservoir. So this is a kind of a positive development into this direction, because now, guys, this body will be able to bring a kind of a better supervision and the disputes might be minimized. This is one thing. But, guys, entirely the states, both of them are not completely happy. And when we talk about the Andhra Pradesh has more or less welcomed that now the board's purview has been established. So the Andhra Pradesh is demanding for this purview, but the Telangana had opposed the river boards and giving them a specific purview. It has been said that until now the specific water distribution has not been identified between the Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. What amount of water will be given? It is not there. And into that particular capacity, this particular board establishing its purview will not be helping us. So this is the development which has happened here. Now, guys, these kind of developments are very much evolving into the nature. So you don't need to go too much into the details, but you can remember such kind of evolving things, because they can be suitably used into our answers and it increases the authenticity of our answer. So that is all about this article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this article taken up from the editorial section of the Hindu, and it is talking about some of the immediate priorities for the health sector, and therefore it will be important for the GS paper number 2 under the social justice, and under social justice the health. Fine. Now, guys, first of all, what has happened? The cabinet reshuffle, the council of ministers reshuffle has happened, and into that the minister of health and family welfare has also been changed. So our new priorities are there. Now, guys, first of all, into the article, the comparison has been made between two of the states, that is the Maharashtra as well as Kerala. Now, why the comparison has been made? Because right now these two states are having the largest number of the new COVID-19 cases, and even the Prime Minister has expressed his worry onto the COVID cases into the Maharashtra and Kerala. Now, it has been said that both of the states, in terms of per capita gross state development project, per capita GSTP, the states are at the similar level, both Maharashtra and Kerala. But, guys, there is a stark difference between both of these two states. That is the fatality rate into the COVID. Into the Maharashtra, the fatality rate is 2.04%, whereas into the Kerala, it is just 0.48%. So it one fourth of the fatality is there in just the Kerala. So in Kerala, we see that they have done so much of the good work in terms of health. Now, why such kind of a difference is coming? Difference is because of the fact that, number one, into the state of Kerala, they had allocated 2.5 times more of the doctors. Fine, 2.5 times more doctors are there. Then, guys, even when we talk about the funding, then 1.5 times more funding is there when compared to the Maharashtra. So because of 1.5 times more funding and 2.5 times more doctor, the Kerala has performed well and the fatalities have been less even when high number of cases are there. So by this particular thing, we get an argument that always when the state will be providing more of the allocations for the health sector, the result for the public health will be drastically very much good. Even to the COVID-19 pandemic, we have seen that the less number of allocations for the health sector has led to many of the problems. Into this particular capacity, guys, it has been said that number one, government needs to set up their priorities right. Rather than going for the fancy projects, we need to allocate money for the health initiatives. Now, guys, into this particular capacity, it has been said that one specific project, if we take, that is the National Health Mission, then guys, it can be seen that since 2017 and 18, the allocation for the National Health Mission has declined into the real terms. And guys, if we see the National Urban Health Mission, its allocation has been declined even more. Just 1000 crore rupees have been allocated, which is just 2 rupees per month per person. Now, just 2 rupees per month per person, it is so much less. Then guys, how the good health delivery could be there? So number one, the budget needs to be enhanced. This needs to be the number one priority, and guys, such data you can utilize. Then guys, it has been provided that a parliamentary standing committee has provided that to reach the targets of the national health policy, where the target with respect to the reduction of IMR, MMR, to provide the health, not just the preventive health but the curative health, all aspects which are to be provided, which have been envisaged under the national health policy, we need to allocate at least 1.6 lakh crore rupees for the public health into the current year. And for many of the years, such enhanced funding is to be given. Now guys, so much funding is more than double than the right now what funding is being given to the health. So here the government needs to very much careful. Then guys, the next comes the aspect of the private sector regulation. Now we have seen that into the COVID-19 that the private sector had exploited the pandemic. They had charged so much of the exorbitant prices from the patients. Guys, it was seen that the remdesivir panic which came there, it was also because many of the private doctors, they started to recommend the remdesivir indiscriminately even when the efficacy was not very much accounted, and because of that the shortage was created. Even guys, we are seeing that the black fungus outbreak has been there. It is attributed to the high steroid use or overuse of steroids, and many a times into the private hospitals steroids are being given indiscriminately. So guys, the private sector has not been responsible in terms of being pocket friendly, in being treatment friendly. So into this capacity, the regularization is very much needed. Now guys, already there is the Clinical Establishment Registration and Regulation Act, which the parliament has already been brought. But guys, there is a severe problem that it has not been completely applicable, because the notifications, the rules with respect to it, the enabling framework with respect to this particular act has not been notified by the parliament. The act came in 2010 and now 11 years have been there. So guys, the enabling framework rules need to be notified so that the private health establishments can be brought under this legislation and their accountability can be fixed. Then guys, we talk about the Niti Aayog's prescription. Niti Aayog had recently published a document that is Investment Opportunities in India's Healthcare Sector. And it has basically made a kind of an unethical recommendation here. Why this is an unethical recommendation? It has given an invitation to the private parties that they should come and should exploit the profitability which could come into the pandemic. It had said that into the tier 2, tier 3 cities, there is huge scope that the private hospitals can be established because the population is there, and as the pandemic will be there, the people will be needing the hospital facilities, so the private hospitals need to be established. Now guys, it is unethical into the way that into India, overly privatized healthcare sector is already existing, and at the second hand, out of pocket expenditures, they are nearly 62%. So already the people are paying out of their capacities, and guys, inviting even more private care is not fitting the social justice prerogative of the government. Rather, government needs to establish more public hospitals so that the poor people can also avail the health. So these are some of the priorities that are needed to be set right. So guys, that is all about this particular article. So these are some of the thoughts which needs to be there into your mind. So that is all, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article is talking about the draft population control bill that has been announced by the Uttar Pradesh. Now guys, from last few days, the article onto this particular line is repeatedly coming. But guys, into this particular article, nothing new substance has been given. if you have followed the newspaper analysis, then guys, already on 12th July at this particular timestamp 4:40, and in 14th July at 8:50, this particular timestamp, we have discussed this particular the population control bill into a much of the critical light, as well as prospects, way forward, everything we have seen. Apart from that, nothing new has been given. So guys, you can refer to it, and apart then these two discussions, nothing you have to see into this particular light. So that is all, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now friends, this particular article, it is just, we can utilize it in as a passing reference into the answers related to the cyber security, cyber crime, which has been mentioned into the GS paper number 3, internal security aspect. Now when we talk about the cyber crimes, they have increased so much rampantly, particularly into the pandemic, because guys, so many of the activities, they have switched online. And into the cyber crimes, guys, we can see that now the cyber criminals, they are targeting the old people, particularly the pensioners. It has been seen that now they are asking the critical information from the pensioners, because they say that they need to update their digital life certificate. Now digital life certificate is to be updated from time to time, so that pensioners can receive their pension continuously. Now into this particular thing, they are asking all the information, they ask the OTP details, and their money is transferred. No, this is one of the way which is now being taken up. So guys, into this particular direction, the cyber security enforcement in India further needs to enhance itself, upgrade itself. Moreover, the literacy with respect to financial transactions using the online tools judicially, etc., needs to be given. So guys, just as a reference, we can utilize it. So that is all about this particular article, and guys, that is all for the today's newspaper analysis. Guys, I believe that this analysis is proving to be helpful for you. Thank you so much.